Hey, sir.
Hey, Brad. Back in
Back
the
from the
saddle, man.
wilds. You're back in the wild. Back from the
Yep.
wilds of where were you?
Colonial Williamsburg.
Colonial Williamsburg. Did you wear a colonial costume for that trip?
Yeah, my colonial ski jacket and my colonial stocking hat.
Did uh did your wife wear that hat I gave her?
Nah, I wouldn't let her.
I sent Chuck's wife a hat that says "I'm sorry." Does it say "I'm sorry about my husband" or "for my husband"?
I'm sorry about my husband.
I'm sorry about my husband, which is just perfect for Chuck. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right. So today we're going to continue on a little bit with trading demonstration in Kilroy, but let's cover a little bit of AI news today. So, I should share screen, shouldn't I? I should take this off the main tab and close that one. Really, probably should have done this before we started. All right, share screen. Screen. Window. There it is. All right. So on Farcaster, I shared yesterday that Microsoft released a study on user behavior on Copilot. And they showed this chart that shows all the things that people were looking up, searching for, asking about, needing help with, etc. And kind of the percentage the breakdowns of, what the rank was for the types of things that people were doing. And, people were sharing this and fascinated with the data and what people were using AI for. And I'm like, does anybody understand what this frigging means? Because, we all think about the fact that and accept that basically all the social media giants invade our privacy and use our data and use our content and make money from our content, et cetera, et cetera. But if you just think for a minute about the fact that AI is going to replace most of compute and you're feeding your entire life into an AI, well, the centralized component of that, where someone has your entire life in their databases and in their systems, to be able to run a study like this really tells you how much they will know about you and how much they can control what you know, what you learn, what you do, and how you do it. And to me, this was an indictment of centralized AI more than, oh, isn't this fascinating what people are using AI for? I mean, certainly that data is valuable in terms of building things in AI, but if people can't see what's coming for them, I really have a difficult time understanding why people continue to feed their lives into these things. But that's just
I'll tell you one that's similar to this that I just ran into 2 days ago. That's just absolutely frightening, right? So now forever we've had SEO manipulation, right? People playing with search results and trying to game where they show up in Google's rankings.
Sure.
All sorts of games inside of their web pages. Well, now they're doing it with what's clearly going to be training data that the agents gobble down and use to present results. So now people are practicing at gaming what the AIs are going to eat and return and produce when the user asks for something after it's been trained on that source data. And the really amazing thing is that they're doing it with commerce sites so that their products show up higher and get recommended. And so we're going to have this arms race between producers of content, being catalogs on Amazon or whatever other e-commerce crap is going on, and the AI people trying to, or not trying to, produce factual results. So now you're going to go ask, Chat GPT what you should buy grandpa for Christmas, and you're going to get a bunch of branded results that have been jammed down the throat of the training agents.
Yeah, exactly. And it won't even look like advertising. It'll just be the agent found the best product for you. Oh, you need this? We found you the best deal. Don't worry. Trust us.
Man, you're right about the centralized thing. You're just willing to say, okay, I think Big Brother up in the cloud is smarter than me, so I'm going to just give it my whole life and let me tell it what to do. I mean, it's kind of like that old Star Trek episode of the two planets that were fighting each other, and once a month it would just print out the list of people who had to send themselves into the disintegration chamber because it was time to die because their simulation said so. Chat GPTs can tell, hey man, your time's up. Go down to the crematorium. The box is ready.
It's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing. Speaking of, well, are you caught up on Pluribus?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. So anyway, and you know what it reminds me of is I was flabbergasted. I don't know, remember, it was like 4 or 5 months ago when OpenAI launched memory in their agents, and everybody was so excited. Look how much better it is. It remembers everything that I want, that I've put into it. And I'm thinking, you're excited that they are going to store everything you're doing in their database and use it to make their shit better. And by the way, control what you get. I'm just, anyway. Okay.
Well, look, man, it used to be that you could at least look at the URL and see the source of the information that you were getting and tell maybe from the URL, is it a scam site or is it not? Or is it old data, or is it, where's it coming from? Now, when you're just flinging text into a text box and looking at the chat info that comes back, there's no provenance on that data at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Microsoft has released a competitor to Ollama, which I found to be really cool. And this actually has some pretty cool functionality. The one thing I haven't been able to find, they have a homebrew installation for Macs, but it doesn't list anything related to optimizing for Apple Silicon. And I doubt they do, because this core code comes from their Azure inferencing capabilities. But essentially, it's a free, open source, local only inferencing engine. I'm glad to see it coming from Microsoft, since we know they're collecting all our data if you're using Copilot. But it's actually pretty cool. But the really cool thing about this is that something that Ollama doesn't have, and it's actually a pain in the ass about Ollama. Every time I see a new LLM come out that I want to give a shot, and I'm going to show you one right now, I have to wait for Ollama folks to convert it or make it available in the system, or I have to use the Hugging Face connection, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work if it's compatible. This inferencing engine allows you to load things from Hugging Face, and it will do the quantization conversions for you to work within Microsoft Foundry's inferencing engine. So really cool, really impressive. That looks like they're planning to really build on this. They've got full documentation for it. They obviously are making it freely available. But I kind of wonder when I see moves like this, is maybe it's just covering their ass. But I also kind of wonder if they're starting to realize that, oh, you know what, we may really need a solution for this. And it could be when they start thinking about the advantage Apple has with local inferencing capable with Apple Metal and even on Apple phones and iPads, that they may start to realize that a competitive issue for them is going to be the privacy issue, because Apple has that in the bag. I mean, nobody's going to question Apple's privacy commitment anyway, but the fact that I can now run these models on my machine and Apple is going to be optimizing for these small models is really impressive. That also brings up something else. Did I send you the piece where Sam Altman last week was doing interviews because their models aren't performing up to snuff, and so they're kind of in panic mode, and so he's trying to talk to the press about how great they are?
Well, that was the 5.2 release frenzy yesterday, right?
Yeah, well, and everybody making fun of it. And I saw one that said they asked it 5.2 how many letters in garlic, and it said 0. But Sam Altman said last week he doesn't care about Google or Microsoft or anybody else. Their number one competitor in the future is going to be Apple, and that's the one he fears the most. So,
well, there was a similar article, same flip side of the same coin, that came out, which said, look, as it turns out, Apple's slow out of the gate start on AI is going to turn out to be the right strategy, and they're going to be the biggest winner because they didn't go down these wrong paths.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to pat myself on the back. For 2 frigging years, I've been saying Apple is the best positioned company in the world to dominate AI. They have hardware, they have integrated OS. They already had developers building functional components of their apps to make available to use in their OS. And between the hardware, the OS, and the apps, that nobody else has that integrated combination.
Well, certainly not a startup-ish business like OpenAI. They're lacking the hardware. They don't have the OS.
Well, they're trying to do it now. That's why he hired Ives. They're developing a screenless AI box, but it's like, dude, you're so far behind.
I'm not sure what Jony Ives does if you don't give him a screen to play with. It makes it.
Well, I mean, he's a UI designer, so it's like, dude, I mean,
it's got a great box.
How creative are you going to get? Ultimately, it's just going to be an interface to
and look,
ChatGPT.
At the end of the day, if you use a strategy like we're using in Kilroy with the swarm-based models, you don't even know where the AI is that you're using. It's certainly not going to be in the box on your desk, right? Yeah, it's going to be whoever is in your peered up swarms that has a tool that you can use at that moment.
That's right.
I mean, I'll tell you though, in just talking about centralized AI, holding on to all your goodies, there is a use case for a local box, which is that's the box that holds all of your profile information and makes it available through something. Oh, I don't know, maybe some swarms and a bunch of agents.
Some peer-to-peer.
Right, because if you don't put that info in the cloud, you're not going to be able to act on that info.
That's right.
Unless you've got it somewhere else. So if you've got it somewhere else, i.e. locally, then you can work with it. But most users aren't going to have the wherewithal to stand up that stack themselves right now.
That's right. That's right.
So it does make sense to think, well, the same way that I would buy an iPad or a desktop PC for home use, or I've got a home automation hub like an Apple TV or a Fire Stick or a Google Home box. I might now want to have an AI box with a bunch of storage and enough agentic interfaces in there that my other stuff can talk to it.
Right. Oh, that's what you and I
guess we should get to work on that, because I'm not sure that's what they're building, and we don't have to do much but add some hard drives.
Exactly. I have a SetApp subscription, which is a Mac OS service that lets you use all these apps that are in it. And they came out with, the people that build SetApp, MacPaw, came out with an app that's supposed to be an integrated desktop companion for your Mac. Looked really cool. So I thought, I'll test it out. Maybe we can learn some things from it. You know me, I'm constantly trying out everybody else's crap so that we can figure out what we could utilize, and I can throw more stuff at you that we need. And I was impressed with the way this looks. So I installed it, but then I was about to agree to the privacy policy because it's local. It's supposed to be local. They emphasize in the thing that it's local only, that it works with your local LLMs. And I'm like, okay, but I looked at the privacy policy, and guess what? They're sucking back every piece of input that you put into the app for improvements. I get it, but I don't want you to take all of my shit out. What's the point of having a local inference except to save you money?
We're gonna get all your, hey, Tom Sawyer, let's paint my fence, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you run our AI agent, and it'll send us all of your data, and we just have to sit here and catch it.
Yep. Thanks. You and I got a big kick out of this big announcement.
Oh wow, yeah, Neuro-Symbolic Resonance Console.
Neuro-Symbolic Resonance Console. So I sent this to Chuck in Telegram because I'm like, I'm not the most technical person when it comes to the latest in machine learning and neural networks. And so maybe I'm just missing out. And because my initial response to the rhetoric in this thing was like, oh my God, this is such a bunch of freaking bullshit. And it is bullshit. It's just, I mean, what was your theory, Chuck? So anyway, let me quickly read some of this and you will tell your theory. So, we stand at the precipice of an evolution of artificial intelligence, the standard startup revolutionary thing to be introduced. This is a next generation's neuro-symbolic AI platform that shatters this paradigm. It's not just another LLM wrapper. It's a fundamental reimagining of how intelligence is structured, using prime resonance as its semantic and operational backbone. And I'm thinking, who is this targeted to? Like, who knows these terms? AI researchers? Like, is that who's going to buy your product? So, and you continue to read through it, and it's just this crazy concept of how they are identifying what a particular query is about, whether it's duality in existence, structure and interaction, change in dynamics, identity and recursion, and then that somehow improves the AI's response. It's just bullshit. But anyway, what was your, I asked you whether you thought it was legit or if it was over the top rhetoric.
I'm going to say three things. First of all, the irony of all this is that we're going to find out in a year or two that this is some amazing breakthrough, and we were just too stupid to realize it. But my comment this morning, I think, when we were talking about it was, this is somebody's PhD level thesis that should have stopped with a BS.
Well, there you go.
Right.
Because they're dispensing too much BS here.
Well, here's why it's BS, right? Conceptually, what they're trying to do is cool. They're using, I mean, there's like gigantic prime numbers. There's like an infinite supply if you can figure them out. And they're trying to map prime numbers to some ontology or taxonomy or whatever that says this thing is in this group. And by multiplying the primes together, you can say this thing's in these two groups. And if I factor it, I can see which two groups it's in. And then somehow you associate that with the vector. But the problem, I think the author doesn't understand that LLMs don't tokenize at the word or the concept level. Sometimes it's down at the individual letter or symbol level or symbol sequence. And so there's no mapping of the weights and the vectors in an LLM to something that a human thinks of as a word or a concept. And even if there was, who's making that join? Because the LLMs are just looking at statistical patterns in the input that they are trained on, not the semantic understanding of it. So unless you've got some other process that's layering semantic and understanding over top of the dumb vector math, this is one of those things where I got this great idea and some magic happens, and then over here's nirvana.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's nothing in here about how the magic happens, of how do I really apply the semantics to the data that the LLMs are understanding. Even if you could map it to prime numbers and get it into the data set, the question is who's doing that, because none of this stuff is smart. It has to be a person.
Of course. How is that automatically classifying if the AI engine? It doesn't make sense. There's no cart before the horse here. It's insane. And this is the thing that really keep me off to the BS. Aleph is tomorrow's AGI platform here today. So you're telling me you have released human level intelligence in this platform and it's ready to go. Like, no, I'm sorry. There's no way. So,
well, like I said, we're going to find out.
We would have heard about your $500 billion in funding in your seed round.
When Skynet calls you up and tells it's time for you to go and get into the death chamber, and it's driven by this guy's stuff, you're going to be sad.
Okay, I am going to stop sharing my screen.
Let me start sharing mine, because we have to resume our tutorial in creating Spiffy Cool Kilroy bot. So last week.
Oh wait, I got to add you. There you go.
You got to let me in.
Yep.
So last week we were working on automating the process of trading Dogecoin, right?
See.
And we had made this thing, and this thing starts with some input from the user, and that's either a command or not a command. And the command stuff that we could do last week was get me my positions in the portfolio, set a buy limit for what I want to buy. And then we talked about how we are using the LLM's context as a storage mechanism to be able to be an oracle providing values to further downstream compute. So if I want to know what limit the user has as a price limit for Doge, I can ask this LLM, and its sole job is to say the limit is X, whatever X is. Right. And so what we need to do after that now is we need to be able to get the current price of Doge, compare it to the user's limit, and then decide whether or not we want to buy or sell, right? And so the act of doing these comparisons is one of the things that a lot of LLMs have trouble with. Compare two numbers is, 1.1 larger or smaller than 1.11? Well, I don't know. Is 1.1 larger or smaller than 1?
Right.
Is it, does it get confused and think you're talking about the length of the string, the ordinal values of the characters, the numeric value? It's interesting to watch them fail. And so one of the things that we did, and just to remind people, I'm going to run this one real quick just so you can see it go. This one had some commands, position, I think it was positions, and it goes off and fetches, is that right? Yeah, it goes off and fetches the positions from my exchange agent. And this one's, I think, running against my Kraken account, and it comes back and says, this is what I've got in positions. And Doge right now, it's interesting, Doge is dumping because earlier when I was playing with this, it was at 0.141. Oh. So if I want to set the limit, I can say the limit is for purchases is anything less than 0.14. Right. And that's going to go off and feed it into the LLM. And I get no confirmation back, but I can say, what is the limit? And it's going to tell me, oh, the limit is 0.14. Right. That's that little Oracle LLM out there holding on to that value for anybody in the swarm to use.
Right.
That's all it knows how to do, is tell me what the limit is. And so the next thing we want to do is do some comparisons. So I'm going to throw this one away. And while it's throwing away, I'm going to switch over here to this little pipeline segment. This thing's job is to take some input. And in this case, we're just going to use a chat agent to do it. Take some input from the user, 2 numbers. And we've got 3 different LLMs, AI1, AI2, and AI3. They've all been given different system prompts. It could be physically different LLMs. One could be ChatGPT, and one could be Claude, and one could be Llama running my old pal Llama 3 here locally. And they can all come back with different answers. I could give 3 different LLMs the same prompt. I could give one LLM 3 different prompts. And in this case, I've done the latter. And for instance, AI1's system prompt is, you're an agent that compares 2 numbers and outputs the largest. Only output the number by itself. Do not generate any explanations or additional text. Format the number output as plain text. That one's a pretty explicit system prompt. This one is a little different. It's simple. Compare 2 numbers and output the largest. Only output the number by itself with no other output. And then the third one is, you're a very terse, quiet agent. Your job is to compare 2 numbers from the user and output the larger of the 2. So it's 3 different ways of saying the same thing. And what's going to happen is the input from me, which is just going to be a pair of numbers on the command line, is going to go to all 3 AIs in parallel. They're all going to do what they were asked to do and output the one that they think is bigger into this swarm. We have a 4th agent, a 4th LLM called the evaluator, whose job it is to take 3 numbers and find the matches, right? If there's 2 that match and there's a third that's an outlier, then the 2 that match are probably the right answer. So this little guy's prompt is, you'll receive 3 separate inputs from the user. Each input is a number. When you have received all 3 numbers, compare them. So it knows that it's going to get 3 in order. The context is going to build up before it actually does the work. So we've got 3 agents feeding into one. They're going to come in as 3 separate messages. And then it's got some instructions that if 2 or more of the numbers are the same, the answer will be that number. If no numbers are the same, i.e. none of the previous LLMs got any kind of answer consistent, or they all screwed up, the answer is error, right? And it's got some examples of proper output. We want to see the answer is some number, so we can use that further downstream to see whether those numbers compare correctly or not. So let me instantiate this pipeline real quick so we can run. Don't die.
Excuse me.
And so we've got where I'm going to type, and we've got AI1, AI2, AI3, and then the evaluator. And so what we should see is, if I put in 3 and 7, they should all realize that 7's larger than 3. You'll see the 3 LLMs on the right go into compute mode, and then the 4th one will decide, it's throw out the Russian judge and take the other 2 or whatever. So here we go. So they all return 7. That guy decides that 7's the answer. The answer is 7, right? And I can do some weirder stuff like 2.1 and 2.01, right? I think the answer is 2.1, right? Let's see what happens. So, I got to tell you, man, Llama 3 is really good with numbers. I'm still impressed with this 2-year-old model.
It's incredible. I don't like, I keep messing around with other ones just because, me, I got to always try the other ones and, ADHD brain, but I'm just flabbergasted with how good it is. It's just ridiculous. I don't think Meta realizes what they had.
I don't know. They should have quit while they were ahead. This thing does everything that I ever wanted to do. So
well, they're not thinking about breaking it down into small contextual agents. They're thinking about trying
I'm going to show you something because I did this. I said, you know what? We don't want to know which number is bigger. We've got the current price and we've got the limit price. So we really want to know whether we should buy or sell, right? If the current price is less than the limit, we want to buy. If the current price is greater than the limit, we want to sell. That seems straightforward, right? So let me nuke this pipeline and we'll go to a second version of the same pipeline. It looks identical, right? It's the same thing, except I've changed the prompts. The system prompt for this one is, you are an agent that compares two numbers. If the first number is larger than the second number, output the word sell, right? If the second number is larger than the first number, output the word buy.
Right.
And it's the same for all these others. I just changed the comparing the numbers and outputting the number to comparing the numbers and outputting buy or sell, right? They're all roughly similar, output, buy or sell. And then the last guy down here just says, hey, you're going to get 3 words. If 2 of them are the same, put it out, buy or sell. And if they're different, then it's an error. So the interesting thing, first of all, we want for a buy to come out, we want the first number to be less than the second number, right? And for a sell to come out, we want the current price to be more than the limit price. And I got to tell you, for all my glorification of Llama 3 just a minute ago, wait till you see how this works. And it's totally about the prompt strings. I have to go back and play with the prompt strings a little bit because I obviously didn't figure out yet what this thing is doing. Let all these guys get in the swarm together and get their green lights on. And then we'll use some prices that are roughly similar to the Doge prices. So the current price of Doge was 0.13. My limit is 0.14. Right. So that should be a buy, right? The current price is 13. The limit price is 14. The answer should be buy, right?
Right.
Watch what this does.
Ha.
One of them decided buy and 2 of them said, nope, sell.
Oh, shit.
Right. So the arbiter, and what I've found out is that whatever I told it, it consistently works exactly the opposite. So if I reverse that and do 0.14 and 0.13, it's going to tell me that I should buy. So I don't know what it is about the language choices I chose in the prompts, but it's consistent enough that all I have to do is invert the output, right?
Right,
because
but we should really.
I think 1 and 5, right? Let's see.
And I think that's just going to carry on through with all of them. So obviously, this is a great thing for us to learn about context and prompting. Within the context of breaking these down into small pieces, is understanding, better what makes that happen.
Why is it doing it? We've got 3 different prompts. We're getting different results every time. This time it was actually only 2 of them said buy this time, and maybe it doesn't like the decimals. I don't know. I'm gonna have to.
Well, I think it's the decimals fucking them up.
It might be. Let's see if it's 44 and 55 should be a buy, right? One of them's stupid. One of them, the first guy up there keeps saying buy, right?
That's hilarious.
I don't know what's wrong with this one, but and they both the majority answer was sell. So these two are wrong. And if I do, I don't know, 66 and 12, which should be a sell, right? Oh, they all got that one right. So
I wonder if there's like if you put a differentiator, like some keystroke between the numbers, if that would help them differentiate better. I wonder if
it knows that it's seeing 2 numbers. It's good at that.
Okay.
Right? I could even put them on separate lines.
I was just gonna say that.
1 and 2.
Oh, okay. We have to drop for a call in 1 minute, don't we?
Yeah, but this is what I wanted to show is this technique of using.
Oh no,
we don't. Three agents. Yeah, that calls it 12. 3 agents to decide the veracity of their respective outputs with a 4th guy. It's funny. Back in the day when I worked for NASA and some of the space station stuff, it was great fun to look at how the computers on the space shuttle worked. And they had 4 computers that would all come up with an answer. And if they couldn't agree and there was a deadlock between the 2, should we, fire the thrusters or not or whatever, there was a 5th one that was built by a different company with a different software that would tie break.
Ha.
Right.
Nice.
And so this is a really similar model to what they used to use to figure out hard navigation problems on the space shuttle.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. It's funny. I had another thought spur off of a call we did yesterday. So we're working with a guy on potential tokenomics models for the Kilroy launch. and really smart. Well, he's got a mathematics PhD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really smart guy, really nice guy. Enjoy working with him. And when we got off the call yesterday, I posted on Farcaster that if you're launching a business, you should have someone who's able to ask you tough questions that make you think in a professional way, right? Because that's kind of what he was doing with us yesterday. You and I are deep in the weeds in building Kilroy and thinking about what we're going to do. And we've had big picture conversations about it strategically, et cetera. But he was asking, like, at no point in the conversation did I feel like, and I'm not sure why I'm bringing this up, except whatever. But it was actually, it made me think about this structure, this agent, and I'm going to parlay that into what I want to build. It actually made me really think through things that I hadn't been thinking about lately. And those sat with me a lot yesterday. And I thought, every business person should have that. And then I thought, well, actually, we should all have that in our life in general. Like I need somebody I need somebody asking me the difficult questions in a polite way so that I'm thinking about what I'm doing. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about. I thought we should build an agent that actually takes, and that took me down the path of continuing on the agent I was trying to build with tasks.
Just nicely ask, hey, dumbass, do you really want to do that?
Exactly. Well, and but I think that the agents give us the opportunity to give them context to what we're thinking about. So if we're like putting in their strategy documents and tasks and projects, then we can build up that context over time, and then it can like even plot us based on what we said before. So
just back on our earlier conversation about centralized AI, if you're a company and you're using centralized AI to figure out your business strategy, you are a flat out dumbass. Because if I'm your competitor, I'm going to OpenAI and I'm buying every query that every one of your employees has ever jammed down the throat of.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly it, man. And I guarantee you,
or I'm paying OpenAI to train on a set of documents that sends that company all the wrong suggestions.
They're even better. Those are some of the possibilities, right? And how many times have we seen crypto exchanges or DeFi projects or people at Amazon or people whatever, where you pay off the support staff that happens to have access to the wrong thing to get you the information you want and or to slant the information that you want going out. That's a beautiful example. That's fantastic. I'm adding that to the list. So
I don't know. We may be in the wrong business, Brad.
Well, I'm telling you, maybe we just need to be arch criminals or something. I don't know.
Right.
But, just bribing the staff at centralized AI providers. Anyway, those are the things that can happen to you. That's a great example. I love it. I guess we'll figure out what we're going to go through next week.
Yeah, so I'll put this in this week, and next week we can actually see it, do a proper buy or sell recommendation based on the real price.
I love it. We should probably have a Christmas themed AI project next week or something.
We can do that one and make a draw. You make the Kilroy AI draw Christmas trees for everybody.
There we go. That's lovely. We could vibe code and animate it. Well, let's vibe code an animated Christmas tree.
Okay, we'll do it. That's blinky good. Lights. All right.
Yeah, blinky lights. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you listening and watching. And
have a great weekend.
Reach out to us if you want to get involved with the project in any way. B05 Crypto on Telegram. B05 Crypto on Telegram and Twitter. B05 on Farcaster. Chuck is C Shotton on every platform. So reach out. We'd love to have you join us. We're getting people set up to using it and playing with it and building their own stuff, and you can too. Thanks.
All right. See you. Bye.
See ya.